6, I guess we should start now. Okay. All right, so I've started the recording. Okay, so for those who are late later, they can view the recording. Okay, before starts, just to make sure everything is clear. So can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, great. Is Dr. Tan there?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so think we have what 6 to 7. I'm not sure, but never mind. Let's start. Then maybe later they'll join in late. Okay. All right. So before start, let me do a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Dr. Tang from Teaching and Learning Center at Glenmary campus. So I have 16 years of teaching experience. Besides dealing with teaching and learning staff, I'm also teaching chemistry in School of Engineering UG campus. Okay, so it'd be great if we can start with some brief introductions so that we can know each other better. So let's start with Nor Sheila first. Maybe you can briefly introduce which school you are working with, which campus, how long you have been teaching, and also what subjects you are currently teaching.
So, hello, hi everyone. So, okay, let me open my camera first. Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Roshela, but you can call me Sheila. So, currently I'm teaching at SCCM, School of Computing and Creative Media. So, I teach data science subject. So, previously I I work as a lecturer as well, but around 1 year, over 1 year at University College of Aviation Malaysia. So basically, I'm quite new as a lecturer. So just like two years experience in teaching, and currently I'm doing my PhD as well. So I already submit everything. Just wait for my Viva session. So pray for me. Hopefully, I can get my doctor soon. Thank
Yeah,
you,
okay, good to know that.
everyone.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you very much. Okay, hi, Jailani. Welcome. All right, so let's continue with Dr. Tan.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good evening,
After
everyone. So I'm Tan Jia Xiang. Okay, you can call me Dr. Tan. So I'm from UOW Penang. Okay, I'm in engineering department, and then actually I'm first grade. Okay, I just finished my PhD, and then I joined UOW Penang. And currently, I'm teaching MST and MED, okay, mechatronic system design and mechanical engineering design.
Oh, okay. So this is your first teaching job.
Yes.
Yeah. Before this, did you do something like what teaching assistants in your previous university?
I didn't do the teaching assistant, but I have some experience on tutor during my secondary school. I'm teaching secondary
Okay.
student.
Okay. All right. So welcome to the education world. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Next, let's move on to Dr. Muhammad Naim. If you are okay, are you convenient to talk?
I'm still waiting for my turn. Hi everyone. My name is Dr. Naim. I started my academic career in Al Bukhari University in Alosta back in 2019, and then after that I moved to uh, Nila University in Nilai, where it was previously known as Medical University. And then during my PhD, I was servicing UITM Shah Alam as a teaching assistant and as a tutor. Yeah. Yeah, currently I am teaching at SCCA as a public relations lecturer.
Public relation. Sheila is SCCM, right?
Yes, correct. SCCM.
Okay. So different school. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Naim, it seems that you have, I would say, very good exposure from different institutions. So hopefully later we can have a good discussion on that part.
Okay, sure. Can.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Naim. Next, Mr. Jailani. Yeah. So, okay. So because you just joined in the middle, so just let me repeat again. So basically now we are having just a get to know each other session, just a brief introduction. So basically we introduce like our name, how long we have been teaching, which schools and campus we are attached to, and also the subjects we are teaching.
Okay, hello, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. My name is Jailani. I'm from School of Engineering, the UG, Utropolis campus. Okay, so previously I already involved in academic in 2015 after I complete my master at UCSI University, Taman Konot, Cheras. Then I'm joined UOW KDU or KDU College in 2018 until 2022. Then I further my study at UTM Johor, and then just recently come back here in 2025 this January.
Okay. So you're not new to UOW then. So
Yeah.
were you furthering in PhD?
Yes. I'm now in my 6th semester for my PhD studies. So I'm now currently doing my writing.
Okay.
They are expected to complete everything by this year.
Okay, well, that would be a tough job to juggle with. Yeah, with your class and then your own class. Okay, all right. Yeah, but yeah, it's I mean good to start the journey. Okay. All right. Yeah, good to know. All right, so basically over here in this group, besides Dr. Tan Jia Xiang, the rest have at least 1 year of teaching experience. Okay, so at least you already have the feel on the job itself, you know, how's the feel of standing in front of your students, where they look up at you as someone with the knowledge, you know, to impart knowledge to them, and then in those days, we as students, we look at lecturers, and now the tables has turned. We are standing as the lecturers, and the students looking at us like, no, what is their view on us? Are we doing our job well or not? Yeah, that would be something for especially those new in the field. You might have that kind of thoughts, okay, and also maybe you'll be a bit nervous on whether I'm performing well or not and things like that. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I'll just switch. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, share my screen. Okay, right. Can you all see my slides?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So today's session is session number 3. Lesson. Hold on. Today is not lesson plan. Hold on. Let me just change first. Not this one. This will be next week. This week is classroom management. Okay. Okay. This one. All right. So you all can see the slides. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So today's acid trip session is classroom management and practice. So it's a sharing session, okay, introduction to what is classroom management and why it is important. Okay. So now the name can be we we are familiar with the terms teachers, educators, instructors, lecturers. Okay, so all these terms are referring to a person's that imparting knowledge to a group of people. Okay, so if people call you teacher or they call you lecturer or instructors, basically we are doing almost the same job, right? We are at the front there facilitating or teaching a group of people on a certain topics. All right. So in this slide, as you can see, this is the what others thought about this teaching career. Okay, so you can have people thinking that teaching means you are standing in front of a group of people looking nice, or you are actually standing there imparting some very complex idea to a group of students, or you are just have a good life there, teaching and dancing, okay, to entertain the students as your crowds, or this part here, if you can see my cursor there, okay, what kids think I do. Okay, so this is the common idea about teachers, especially in students' eyes, okay, where our job is to cram in all the informations into the students, okay, and then we hope they can regurgitate everything out during the exam, okay? Or some people like what I think I do. So lecturers, people would think, or even we think like, oh, we just need to know how to talk. That's it, okay? But the actual task we do is more than just teaching, agree? Besides teaching, okay, we have to, like if we look at our setting here, we have to do research, we have to do some paperwork, okay, we have to present papers and run activities, okay, a lot of things we have to do. So teaching is the main component, but besides the teaching part, we have other things to do. Okay, so it is very important. Hi, Dr. Abdullahi, welcome. Okay, so besides teaching, we have other things to do, all right? And then when we walk into the class, we have to give the perception to others that that is the only thing we do. You get what I try to say? Okay. Because a lot of times, let's say we take just example, okay? A mechanical engineer in car manufacturing company. So their job is pretty much focused on if their job scope is research to improve the engine. So that is their scope. So they just focus on how to increase the performance of the car engine. Okay, and pretty much that's all. Okay, but for us, when we have the title, lecturer. So people thought that is what we are doing, okay? But actually it's not correct. So besides that, we also have our own research and other activities to run, okay? But because the main roles of our main role is to teach. So when we go into the classroom to teach, we have to present ourselves as a lecturer professionally. We have to put aside whatever tasks we have at the moment and make sure we deliver our lesson effectively. right? So in order for effective impartment of knowledge, okay, so that sometimes requires certain skills. So we have to make sure the classroom is in the correct setting so that the teaching and learning can take place smoothly. All right. So that's a very long introduction there. So objectives. So today's coverage, basically, I'm going to cover these few things here. Identify effective teachers' characteristic, identify components in classroom management, apply different classroom management styles, and lastly, identify students' misbehaviors and the proper action. Okay, so before we continue, I'd like you to do this, to answer this question. What are the characteristics of an effective teacher? So if you have your gadgets with you, feel free to scan. If not, I'm sending the link. Yeah, so if you have gadget, you can scan, no problem. If not, you can use the link I just put in the message box there to access. Okay, so the first question there, what are the characteristics of an effective teacher? So yeah, put in your thoughts there. I'll give you around 2 minutes like that. Okay, you can send in as many responses as you want. If you have issues there, please let me know, yeah? Okay, so I'm sharing the outcome so you all can see at the screen there. So we have one response here, well prepared in the subject matter before delivering the lecture. Okay, waiting for other responses. Okay, able to explain theory concept in simple terms. This one is very good. Okay, able to simplify complex concept. Able to engage and motivate students. Okay, so over here we have 5 responses. Any other answer? Okay, so let's look at this 5 here, called characteristic of an effective teacher. So when we say effective teacher, the first thing come into our mind will be able to deliver the lesson well, and the students able to receive the informations and able to demonstrate the outcomes via assessment. Okay, so that's basically, generally, that's how we perceive an effective teacher. Agree, yeah? So we able to impart the knowledge according to our LO, our lesson outcome. We impart everything, the students accept everything, process, and then able to demonstrate via the assessment. Okay, so that's what we look at generally. Okay, so looking at the responses here, well-prepared subject matter, yes, that one's correct, so that you know what to teach. Able to explain theory concept in simple terms, yes, you went through your lecture notes, everything, and make sure what you present is something that the students can accept, and then slowly make it more difficult. Same with the ability to simplify. And then the next one, this one here, able to engage and motivate students. Yes, okay, so so over here, besides able to deliver, okay, the lesson, we have to make sure that we have a good rapport with the students, okay, because don't forget, over here we are dealing with living things, we are dealing with humans, okay, so if there's no good rapport, it will be impossible to deliver what we have prepared earlier. Okay, so yes, importance, okay, we must treat them as human, okay, so we cannot be just robotic, just deliver the lesson. No, okay, we have to make sure that we can engage the students so that they can engage us back, okay, and motivate the students, encourage interactive discussion, encourages interactive discussion. Yeah, so as the lecturers, we should be able to make sure, okay, that in the classroom they can have good discussions. Okay, we have to prompt them, okay, to in the presentations and things like that. So we have to make sure the learning is ongoing. Okay, and the last one here I can see here has emotional intelligence, strong communication skills. Okay, so yes, that is very important as well. Okay, effective teachers must have emotional EQ, high EQ, and strong communication skills. This part here, you will how to say, you will learn along the way, okay, because we have to make sure that we don't get frustrated easily, okay, we don't mindlessly scolding students, okay, then at the same time, strong communication skills, okay, we should be able to impart, okay, the knowledge to students or our informations to students correctly and effectively, right? And also must be a good listener as well. Okay, as an effective teacher, we must be a good listener as well, not always just one direction, blaming the students. Okay, we should be able to listen, okay, to what the students want to tell us, understand their problems, and try to solve it. Okay, so yeah, basically, there's no one definition on what is the actual characteristic of effective teacher. Okay, so everything that you all share over here, these are all the characteristic of effective teachers. Okay, good. Okay, back to the slides. Okay. So earlier on, okay, we have looked at those characteristics. So now let's look at how those things will be reflected, okay, will be reflected in the classroom. So let's look at effective classroom management. Okay, so what is the meaning of effective classroom management? So we always said, okay, our purpose here, we want to go to a classroom, we want to deliver the lesson, okay, to make sure, let's say I'm teaching chemistry, they will get all the information about chemistry and then able to perform in exam. That is the main things, okay? But besides that, okay, the classroom management, okay, effective classroom management, teaching more than that, okay? So as you can see here, okay, in the effective classroom management, besides teaching what the subject's about, we also cultivate appropriate behavior. For example, coming responsibility. Okay, responsibility. The students, they should be able to deliver their job on time, attending classes, and then other skills like communication skills. Okay, and other good behavior, teamwork, and things like that. Okay, so these are the things that they will learn along the way. Okay, besides that, we also able to correct inappropriate behavior, okay, along the way. Okay, if we actually concern about the students. Okay, for example, I know we have students that like to bully others. For example, no, always like name calling in a class. If we don't care about all these things, then that kind of behavior can continue into the next years or things like that. Okay, but if we get able to pinpoint like, oh no, we can correct the students like, no, this is inappropriate, so can you not do this? And then yeah, the students can change. Okay, this is from my experience. In the past, I have these two students. They are very competitive, and one of them, he used to like, we can say, loose mouth. When he talk, he will just use whatever words he wants. Okay. At the beginning, I just let it go because nothing offensive there. But one day, he just start to use the word like, no, you stupid. So he like not pointing to other students, no, you're stupid, that kind of things. So you can see the moment he used that kind of words, you can, if you pay attention to the reaction, the face of the students. So you can see like, no, the other party, they feel inferior, or no, that they felt like, no, this student is bullying. So if we actually probe or monitor what is going on in the classroom, we'll say, oh no, this kind of name calling is inappropriate, and these students must change, right? So you take the trouble to go to the students and try to explain, no, this is not good, this is bullying, The students, he got the idea. Then you can see that, I can see that in the next class onwards, he tried to control his words. Okay, so that's one example of how the effective classroom management can actually correct some inappropriate behavior that the students, they might not know because no one tell them. Okay, but we take notes, we tell them, they improve. Okay, and then also in the classroom, effective classroom, because there's a rapport among the students and between the students and teachers, we can promote trust, friendship, and accountability. Okay, they trust us, they'll share their not too private things, but they will share some problems if they have, or they can communicate among themselves in solving other things. So it's a good environment for studies. Okay, and lastly, of course, enable effective teaching. Okay, so this is the main thing, but besides this, we have other three things here that we can improve the students' quality in the long run. Okay, if we practice effective classroom management. Okay, the criteria, okay, what to be called as effective classroom management. Okay, so first, as I said, good rapport, okay, will establish a positive relationship among the students and also with the teachers in the safe environments. Then second, prevent attention seeking and work avoidance behavior among students. So attention seeking and work avoidance, this one here, normally we group them under misbehavior. Okay, misbehavior. So why we need to prevent this attention seeking and work avoidance? Because remember, the first thing when we are going to the class, we want to maximize the time for the teaching and learning activity. Okay, so if we have this attention seeking or work avoidance behavior among the students, then it will make the teaching ineffective. Okay, we wasted time to correct this and that until we cannot finish what we have planned to teach. Quickly and discreetly redirect misbehavior once it occurs. Okay, so in effective classroom management doesn't mean we won't have misbehavior. Okay, sometimes no, we do have students that after a while they get bored, they start to talk. Okay, they start to talk. So we need to quickly and discreetly redirect this, okay, so that it won't escalate to more uncontrollable situation. Okay, so we need to know the correct words to use, the correct moments, okay, so that the small talk won't escalate to become shouting and things like that. Okay. Next, okay. Stop persistent and chronic misbehavior with strategies that are simple enough to be used consistently. Okay, so these are the criteria for the effective classroom. Okay. 5, teach self-control instead of punishment. Okay, so early on, as you can see there, we try to prevent or de-escalate the issues from becoming big. Okay, so the process, we actually try to correct the students' behavior. We try to tell them what is the expected behavior and which behaviors they should change. Okay, so by telling them this, we hope that the students one day they will learn self-control by themselves. Okay, the things, the behavior is from within. If we punish them, it can just give them the shock at that moment, but it may have negative results. Okay, so normally when we try to reprimand students from misbehavior, we try to tell them properly, try to guide them rather than punish them. And lastly, of course, when we dealing with students in the class, we have to remember we are dealing with a group of people from different backgrounds. Okay, the students, they have different racial background, cultural backgrounds, and things like that. Okay, so we have to make sure we respect these cultural differences. Okay, and through good rapport with the students, okay, and if we understand them more clearly, then yeah, we can pick up what they will feel offended, okay, if we use in the class and things like that. Okay, so these cultural differences is something that we will pick up along the way. Okay, just a quick example, these cultural differences. For example, like in Malaysia, the simplest thing, pointing fingers. Okay, I think like sometimes if you just watch shows or you just came back from overseas, it's very normal to people to just like, hey, you here, just pointing using fingers. So most of us will feel quite offended if the fingers is directly pointing to us. Okay, so normally people like, they point this way or they use a thumb like this. Okay, so these are some of the examples of how something that normal to other people might be offensive to us. Okay, so these are some things that we have to think about, okay? Especially we have a class full of different groups of people. Okay? Again, these kind of things will take times to learn. That's why it's very important to go back to building good rapport with students so that you can learn more from them. So far, so good? Any questions? Okay, so I'll continue. Okay, so we are still under the classroom management, effective classroom management. So if we look at the classroom setting, we are viewed as a leader by the students, okay? Because we are there as adults. Most of our students, they are younger than us. Most, sometimes we can have more mature students, but most of the time, okay, our students, especially the diploma or the undergraduates, they are younger than us. All right, so they'll look up at you as someone with more experience. So they'll look at you as a leader. So how you carry yourself, how you present the things, they will learn, they'll pick up. And from there itself, they can be either like you, respect you, or they'll hate you altogether. Okay, so in the classroom, the lecturers or the teachers, they're equivalent to leader. Okay, someone you either follow, you hate, or you like. Okay, so leadership styles here, basically a type of leaders that the students can see you. all right? They can look at you as what kind of leaders. So the first one is legitimate leadership. Okay, legitimate leadership, as you can see over here, it says students show respect because you are a teacher. So in Asia context, this is very common, okay, because after 11 years of studying in schools, okay, they have been trained that teacher is someone that you have to respect. No matter what the teacher say, what the teacher do is always correct. So if the students, they view you as legitimate leadership, okay, means they might not be able to express what they want to express. So they'll just listen to you. And I think this is quite common with some of our students. You can tell them whatever you want. They just look at you only. They'll nod their head. They'll say thank you, goodbye. That's it. Okay? They won't share with you what is their problem, or they won't go to see you when they have problems. Okay, so and normally only in the class they'll say good morning, sir, then goodbye, sir, thank you, sir. That's it. Outside they'll try to evade you if they saw you from the far. So if you see this kind of situation, means they look at you you are just a teacher. Okay, so they won't share things with you. Okay, so that's the first. Second is reward leadership. Okay, so rewards in the form of privileges, titles, responsibilities, approval. So this one is like the students, they will respect you because they get something out from you. Okay, for example, let's say in the class, you always reward them. Okay, you always reward them with it can be as simple as candy, okay, or you give them some special titles in the class, got the leaderboard kind of things. Okay, so they respect you because they can gain something out from you. The moment you remove the rewards, they won't participate anymore. They won't they won't respect you, okay, for what they won't follow your instructions or things like that. Okay, so that is reward leadership. So make sure when we are rewarding our students with praises and things like that, make sure do it sparingly, not all the time. And the third type is reference leadership. Teachers who exhibit values such as caring, ethics, fairness, and trustworthiness. Teachers have a strong rapport with students. Yeah, so this is another type where we always say favorite teachers. Okay, if we ask our students, in the past, in your secondary school, do you have favorite teachers? So I believe every one of us will have at least one favorite teacher. And then when we try to elaborate why he or she is our favorite teacher, then all the good value will come out. Like, this teacher is fair, is caring, trustworthy, all those things will come out. Right? So this kind of teacher, normally the students, the first person they'll go to see if they have issue. Okay, and they easily open up if we ask them, why you, what can we help you, or do you have any issues here and there? They will open up to you. Okay, so these are the kind of teacher. Okay, and the last one is expert leadership. So teachers who show enthusiasm and confidence in teaching. Students respect you for your knowledge and competency in your field. Okay, so when you are in the class, you present your lesson flawlessly, they can understand, okay? And when they ask you questions, you can answer 90% most of the times, okay? Everything makes sense. So those students who went in your class to gain some knowledge, so they will respect this kind of teacher because they know, okay, so I'll gain something, the knowledge-wise, and I know this teacher won't fail me in terms of the questions I'm going to ask. Okay, so yeah, that is what means by the expert leadership. So for us as educator, at the end of the day, we hope that we can reach a level where people will look at us as the referent leadership and expert leadership. In other words, we are good, okay, in building relation with the students. At the same time, we are good in what we deliver as well. Okay, so the number 3 and number 4 will take time, especially for those first timers. Okay, so because as a first timer, maybe you are master of what you are teaching. Okay, you know the back and forth of what's your contents, the coverage, everything. But when you go to class, maybe you have stage fright. Okay, you have stage fright, stuck here and stuck there, and then nervous start to come in. Then that will make the lesson delivery a bit shaky. So that kind of things will change, right? So the moment it becomes a bit shaky, then the students start to complain this and that. Okay, but eventually, if you improve, then it should be okay. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's what we hope we can achieve, okay, along the way. So someone that the students will respect, and then at the same time, we can deliver the best, okay, to the students. Okay, so now we already have the right mindset, okay, what the students expect from us. Okay, they want us to be someone, caring. At the same time, we're expert in what we are doing. Next, let's look what else. Okay, classroom management. So means the venue also play important roles. The venue, the climax or the mood, okay, in the classroom. So we call it as classroom climax. So it can be, face-to-face. Okay, I think nowadays face-to-face is quite common. Anyone here still doing online teaching? Anyone doing online teaching, like ODL or what? No, yeah? Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, the online teaching is slightly different skills, okay? But for face-to-face, it's quite straightforward. We have a venue, a physical room. Inside there, we have the arrangement, and then we also have the mood, how we carry the mood. So over here, we have what we call social climax, okay? Social climax. What kind of activity we want to do with the students, okay? And therefore, what to expect from the students or by the students. Okay, so first is the competitive social climax. So under competitive, students compete for the right answers among themselves or against established answer. Example will be like drill or practice. So the authority given to students basically is 0, no authority by the students. And as the lecturer, okay, our task will be give instruction to present activity and evaluate answers. Okay. The second climate is cooperative. The students are expected to engage in discussion that is monitored by teacher. Example will be like group discussion. And the authority given to students will be to present opinion, ideas freely and spontaneously. Means the students will be doing bulk of the job rather than us. And for teacher, our job basically is to stimulate discussion, to diffuse conflicts, and to summarize students' work. So over here, you can see the difference over here. The competitive, is just one way. The students, they just answer, and then we decide it's either yes or no, correct or incorrect. But for cooperative, the students will do bulk of the job. Our job is just to facilitate, to make sure they are on the right track. And the last one is individualistic. Okay, individualistic. Students complete assignments on their own, monitored by the teacher. Okay, so the example here will be like test. So in individualistic, there's no, the student's job is to complete with the best possible answer. And for the teacher, we assign the work and to maintain order. So basically, again, over here, our role is just to assign and maintain order. We just there to make sure there's an order in the classroom. There's no teaching. Okay, there's no teaching. There's no engagement between the lecturers and the students. And from the student sides, they'll try to give the best possible answer. Okay, so these are the three types of social climates we can have in the class. Okay, either competitive, cooperative, or individualistic. Now, let's put these three social climates in the classroom setting. Okay, so in the classroom setting, okay, we can use this competitive, cooperative, and individualistic in on full class or groups or individuals. Okay, so how we look at that? Okay, full class means we want everyone to respond. Okay, that's what it means by the full class. Okay, we want everyone to respond. So for competitive full class, okay, this will be students compete with each other to get correct answers during their turn. For example, no, in our class, when we deliver our lesson, then we start to give out one question. Okay, what is the name of our Prime Minister? Please put up your hand. Then they'll put up their hand and we pick. Okay, Simon. Then the Simon will give the answer. Okay, then we said wrong answer. How about Alex? Oh, correct answer. Then we continue with the lesson. Then another question again. Okay, how many colors in our Malaysian flag? Aziz. So like no, the students that will compete, but we pick who we want to answer. Okay, so there's a competitive and full class competitive. Okay, so all the students involved. Another one is cooperative. So this one, full class. Students are allowed to hint each other when facing difficulty. Okay, something similar like the first one, but they are cooperating instead of competition. Means, let's say we ask the same question. Okay, okay, how many colors in our Malaysian flag? So someone put up a hand. We said, okay, Z, what's your answer? White, yellow. Then stuck there already. Then we can prompt like, okay, anyone would like to help? And then there's cooperative. Okay, so still individual giving the answer. Okay, but it's more like to help the students, okay, to get the answer rather than fight for the correct answer. And the last one is individualistic but full class. So this one will be like all the students recite in unison. Okay, what is the name of our Prime Minister? So everyone will shout the name. Wah, 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 wah. So that is individualistic. So each of them give the answer, okay, and is in full class setting. Next, group. So we have group works. So how can we create this different mode? Okay, so we want the competitive in group, cooperative in group, and individualistic in groups. Okay, so how that works. So for competitive group will be, we split the students into several groups. They are given the same task. So for example, like poster competition. Okay, create poster for recycle campaign. So everyone doing the same team, recycle campaign. And then after that, they present their work, we choose which one is the best. So that is the competitive, okay, in group work. Okay, so they're all doing the same topic and then they fight each other to present the best. Meanwhile, for cooperative, this one will be still the same groups, but the same task, we break it down into several sections. Okay, recycle, this one you can talk about the first R, this one second R, this one the third R. So once you're done in the individual group, you get back together to connect the informations from the different sections to come up with the 3 R's in the recycling. Okay, then together you write a report and present. Okay, there's the group work in the cooperative parts. And the last one is individualistic. Individualistic in the group sense. Okay, so each group, they are given a completely different topic to do. Okay, and then each topics are not related to each other, and they'll just do it as a group and then present it. And then monitored by others. Okay, this one be example like, we ask, okay, so one class we divide into 5 groups. Each group we give them tasks to summarize the each topic. Like group 1, you're going to do summary on topic 1. Group 2, you do summary on topic 2. So they will do different tasks, okay, and not related to each other. Okay, that one will be group work, but individualistic. The last part is individual. Okay, individual, but competitive. Okay, individual, competitive. All competes to answer the same question. The students with the fastest and most accurate response wins. This will be basically competition. I believe you're all familiar with Kahoot, yes? Kahoot or quizzes. Yeah, so that's exactly the individual competitive. Everyone are given the same questions. They are given the same time to compete. Okay, everyone can compete, but only the fastest and the correct one will get the point. Okay, so it's totally different from the competitive in the full class. Full class competitive, they all will put up their hand, but we choose who to answer. Okay, but for the individual competitive, they all have the equal chance to answer. Just that who is the fastest, that's all. Okay. Cooperative in individual, this one will be, most of the time will be the pair work. So individually, they're still doing their own work. No discussion, okay? They'll still complete their work, but at the end, they will exchange their answer. Example will be like cross marking. Okay, I believe you heard of cross marking. So we ask them to do their work. Okay, they finish their work on their own. After that, they'll exchange the paper. They'll mark for their friends. Okay, so that is cooperative individuals. Okay, so they do their own work, but they'll help each other when it comes to the marking and also to discuss or know what you get wrong. They'll comment each other's paper. Okay. And lastly, individual and individualistic. Okay, each student completes their work independently without direct interference from the teacher. This one basically will be exam. Okay, exam. Okay, there won't be individual, individualistic. Okay, so now we have the social climate. Okay, what kind of setting we want? Okay, so this kind of setting later on when we look at how to create lesson plan, okay, in the next lesson trip, in the next acid trip session. So maybe over there, you'll get the idea on what kind of activities you want to create for what kind of mood you want to give to the class at that time. Okay, so whether you want it to be competitive or cooperative or individualistic. Okay, so all these things, once you know what you want to set up, then you look at your lesson plan, how to make it to suit the environments you want to set up. Okay, so they are all related. Okay, today's sharing session, the upcoming one, these two are always hand in hand. Okay, classroom management and lesson planning. Okay, so now we already know what mood we want to set. Okay, competitive, cooperative, individualistic. The next things we have to set. Okay. Yeah, before that, okay, over here it says, an effective teacher can control the mood of the classroom in different social climates to maximize engagement and minimize disruption. Okay, so yeah, I'll explain that later. Okay, so hand in hand, we also have the physical climate. This will be normally the physical arrangement of the table and chair in the classroom. Okay, so most of the time we have the one in the traditional setting. Okay, traditional setting where you have the tables set in this manner where everyone will be facing the instructor. So this one we call it as sage on the stage. Okay, everyone just listen to the teacher. Okay, so this kind of setting minimize the student-student interaction. Okay? It can be a good setting, depends on what we are doing, what kind of activity we are doing. Okay, so if you want them to pay attention to us in the lesson, then yes, this is the very good setting, right? We want them to pay attention. But if we want them to discuss, then the group arrangement will be the best. Okay, so in the group arrangement, they'll be sitting in a small cluster facing each other. Okay, so easy to communicate. And the last one here is horseshoe setting. So horseshoe setting here, as you can see, it's like a U shape. Okay, so the instructor will be standing at the front here, and the students will be around here. Okay, or the teacher can sit over here. The students who turn to talk will stand in front here. So this kind of setting normally is good for discussion. Okay, discussion where everyone over here in the seats, they can see the presenter. Okay, they can see the presenter and they can ask the presenter directly, okay, on questions and things like that. Okay, so besides these three, of course, we have other setting as well, like the round table, double shoe horse, a lot of kind of setting. But normally, generally in our classroom, with the limited time and limited space, basically these are the the common settings, okay, that we can have to complement with the activities we want to do. Okay, so which is the suitable style? Okay, this one depends on what you want to do. Okay, so if you want to impart knowledge, means you want them to listen to you on what you want to deliver to them. The traditional is the best. When it comes to group work, then they can just face each other in a small cluster. They can discuss between themselves without interrupting other group. Or if it's a sharing session with everyone in the class, then it'll be the U or shoe horse setting. Okay, so that will be the classroom, the climate, and also the physical climate. So we already have the lecturer, what students expect us to do. We have the setting. Now, next thing. So in order to deliver our lessons without any interruptions, we have to make sure the students clear with what we want to do. In other words, we must set rules, right? If we have rules, means that is the expectation. Okay, whatever expectation we want from the students, we put it under the rules. Everyone agreed upon it. Everyone follow it, and that will reduce disruption in the class. Okay, so over here, basically just general rules, what you should have. Okay, so the rules here, main purpose, okay, why we must have the rules, of course, to maximize the work engagement and minimize disruption, to promote safety and security, okay, especially when we are dealing with things like practicals. Now we have like the kitchen, or the engineering lab or the science lab, okay, where they are dealing with dangerous things like the welding machines or knife. So that is where the rules and regulation becomes very important, okay, for them to follow. Okay, the next one, the purpose is to avoid inconvenience to other users. Okay, we use the place, we clean up properly, and we don't leave any mess behind. And the last one, to encourage appropriate social interactions. Okay, so we want to set rules, set boundaries, what can do, what can't do, and things like that. Okay, so that's the main purpose of why we must set classroom rules. Okay, so when you are setting the rules, so over here, I won't tell you first what you must have, second what you must do. No, okay, so all these kind of things is very individualistic depending on the nature of the class you are teaching and also the community you are teaching. Okay, sometimes we might need to tweak here and there. Okay, but generally, when you set the rules, it must fulfill some of these criteria here. Okay, so first, consistent with the classroom climate. Okay, means when you are doing the lesson, lecturing, you expect students to pay full attention to you. Agree? So when you're doing the lecturing, you want the students to pay full attention to you. So this is where you expect the students to be quiet, not on their gadgets. Okay. Meanwhile, when you are doing a group discussion, you expect the students to group together to talk about the topics that you are going to teach, or you ask them to research on. They're supposed to group together, do the research, do some exchange, and at the same time they can refer to books, they can refer to gadgets and things like that. Okay, so that's what we expect them to do at the different activity. Okay, so make sure the rules we set must tally with what we want them to do. Okay, you cannot say, please, now you all go into make a group of 5 and then discuss on this and this matter. Make sure you all maintain silence. Doesn't make sense, right? You want them to discuss, but make sure silence. It doesn't work. Okay, so make sure the rules must be consistent with the activity. You want them to talk, you expect to be noisy. All right. Next, enforceable. Okay, the rules you apply must be enforceable. Okay. And third, general but understandable. Okay, must be some very straightforward statement. Okay, for example, if you like in lab where they cannot eat and drink, so you can just say do not eat and drink, finish. Okay, so something direct and understandable. And whatever rules you set there, of course, this one will take again based on experience. You can, like, this is your first time, you can set the rules. If it doesn't work, tweak and then try again. Okay, but the rules you set certainly will fail. Okay, if the rule is not practical. For example, you already have in your mind, okay, so for tomorrow's activity, I want them to use 2B pencil. Okay, so if the general rules, the workable rules will be, all right, bring 2B pencil. Okay, so they will bring 2B pencil. Any 2B pencil will do. It will become not practical if we start to say, I want Mr. DIY 2B pencil. So not everyone will have that, right? So that one become not practical. Okay, so the rules must be something that practical. So if it is impractical, very hard to get, let's say materials very hard to get, or the instruction is something unreasonable, then it's quite difficult. For example, let's say you set the rules to them. Okay, so for every email I send out, I expect you answer my email within 30 minutes. Is that practical? You ask yourself. Whatever rules you set, right, you have to ask yourself. If the students now send me email, will I be able to reply within 30 minutes? If not, then that is not practical. So you don't impose something that you yourself cannot complete. Okay, so that's how you test whether it's practical or not. Teachers play favors. So in reprimanding violators, you already set wonderful rules. Okay, everything perfect. But you pick and choose to who you want to apply. Let's say you have A. Okay, A came in 15 minutes late. You say, okay, A, you are late today, stand outside. Then tomorrow, B, also 15 minutes late. You say, oh, B, come in, sit down. I know you have hard time. So that is considered as favorism already. You are applying the rules to certain people only. Okay, and what people will look at you, right? People will say you are not fair, you cannot stick to your rules. Then that's where the students, they'll start to play fool, or they'll start to misbehave. Okay. And lastly, you already have rules, you have you have tell them the rules, everyone agreed on the rules, then you have to enforce it firmly. Okay, so if you say, for example, without your lab coat, you cannot enter the science lab, so make sure you stick to it, right? Okay, so students came, sir, I left my lab coat at home. I don't care. You want to enter, you must have lab coat. Go and find. Surely they can find somewhere. Okay, so once you do it firmly like this, then it sets example to others as well. Agree? So others in the future, they'll think twice, they'll check twice. Okay, if you say like, "Ayah, you forgot, never mind. Make sure next week you bring, come in." The others see, oh, you are very loose. So others will start to take it for granted. Then you can see more and more students using different kind of excuses not to bring in the lab coats. Okay, yeah. So when you set the rules, make sure, okay, they are consistent with the classroom climate, they are enforceable and general. Okay, and make sure when you read again, make sure they do not falls under not practical. Okay, and that's something that you know you can enforce firmly to everyone. Okay, so these are some of the things to take notes when you are creating the classroom rules. All right, so yeah, we have talked about the classroom setting and also how to set the rules. Okay, now we look at problem areas in classroom management, something to take notes. Okay, so when we talk about classroom management, again, it means that less disruption. Okay, and we maximize the teaching and learning activities in there. Okay, so over here, I'm going to share the 4 areas where problems might exist, which can contribute to the disturbance in the lesson. First, it is the monitoring students. Okay, so in class, face-to-face class especially, okay, we have to make sure we always look around. Okay, we have to make sure if we have 40 students in a class, we have to look at all the 40 students to make sure they are engaged. Okay, from their facial expression, from their body language. Okay, from there you should be able to read what is going on. Okay, so let's say you are teaching something very complex to them. You're teaching them mathematics, integration. The moment you start to write, their face showing something like this, or some scratching head. So that kind of actions will tell you, something wrong here. So I need to tweak a bit. I have to ask them questions on see whether on what is the issue, which part they don't understand. Okay, so that is what we have to do. All right, and then of course maintaining eye contact with students. Don't just look at one student. Okay, just go through everyone so that they will take notes that you are talking to them. Okay, so maintain eye contact, not to one but all of them. And then again, shifting the activities. Okay, when the students start to lose focus. Okay, so back to the first point, that able to read the situation. This is very important. Okay, so sometimes we are too focused on fulfilling our activity. Okay, we say, oh no, I have 50 slides I have to finish today. So da 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 da. But at the end of the day, how much they receive. Okay, that is something more important. Okay, so if we see they start to lose focus, so we know something wrong already. So I have to change. Okay, so make sure they know what they are studying. is more important than to finish what you have planned. Okay, yeah, so make sure of that. And of course, in order to monitor the students, to maintain the eye contact, make sure you don't talk with your back-facing students. Okay, so this can be a common mistakes. Even I sometimes will do this as well. Okay, back-facing students, especially when we're busy writing on the board. Okay, so we write on the board and we talk to the board. So that's where we can't see how's the student's expression and we don't know what they're talking about. So if you need to write something, you finish writing first. You finish writing everything you need to write, then only face the students and start to communicate. Okay, don't write and talk to the board. Okay, sometimes the voice projection, they can't hear. You are facing the whiteboard, they cannot hear you, what you are trying to say. And also when you are writing, with your body facing there, you are blocking the board as well. So they can't follow. It's better for you to write what you need to write, then face them back, stand at a proper position where you don't block people and start to explaining what is going on there. So while explaining, you can look at their face, what is going on. Okay, so if you fail to do this, then yeah, the problem will occur where you can't monitor, okay, their understanding. Okay. Of course, okay, you do not talk by looking at one student. Okay, looking at one student is also not effective in monitoring. Okay, because first you only look at one student, so other people they can sense, oh, you are not paying attention to us. We can do other things. Okay, so they will start to lose their concentration. Meanwhile, the one student they are looking at, if the student is introvert, that students will feel nervous already. So instead of listening to you, giving the information, they'll start to look somewhere else, lose the concentration, okay, because they hate people looking at them. Okay, so for the eye contact, okay, always just 1-2 seconds on one people and then go to other people 1-2 seconds and move on like that. And of course, the last one here, do not talk to windows or ceiling, okay, or talk by reading your screen. Okay, if it is online like this, fine. Okay, I'm reading the screen. Okay, but if you are talking the live in a class, yeah, so make sure, okay, you talk to the students, not to the screen. Okay, so this is the first problem area in the classroom management, where if you start, if you start to talk to the wall, you're not talking to the students will start to lose concentration. Once they lose concentration, this is where we said, oh, no, the students misbehave. They start to talk to each other. The students, they start to sleep in the class, playing phones and things like that. Okay, so that can happen because of this part here. We fail to read the mood in the classroom. Second, problems can occur in making transitions. Transitions over here, referring to the change in main activity. For example, let's say you have 2 hours class. So you say, okay, so the first half an hour, I'm going to give my lecture. The second half an hour, discussion. After that, take 10 minutes break. Coming back from the break, they'll present their work and then we do some summary. Okay, so you can see the sections, right? You give the class, the lesson, group work, break, presentation, summary. So those groups in between from one activity to another activity, that is called transition. Okay, so during transition, the students, if the time between transition is too long, okay, the students will start to feel bored. They will start to talk, start to do other things. Okay, so the reasons why the students will start to misbehave during transition, it can be because they are not ready for the next activity. Okay, so you just simply switch without telling them. So they are they are in shock. Okay, so they're not ready. So they start to grumble for a while. And then students don't know about the transition. They don't know what to do. Okay? And they don't know now is different activity. Okay, the students do not know how to react. Okay, and last, this will be our fault. Okay, teacher delay the start of the new activity. Or sometimes you say, okay, now let's watch a video. Not playing lah, not connected lah, no sound lah. So you take like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for the activity. So during that blank, the out time, the students, they lose interest already. They say, what lah, this lecturer this lecturer that, then they start to gossiping. So that is where the so-called the interruption will happen. Okay, so we have to make sure we tell the students how the structure goes in your class. Okay, so these problems in transition is considered small issues. We can always solve this by routine. Okay, so once the students, they learn the routine, you inform them about the routine, then the so-called interference during transition will be lesser. Okay. The third area where you have some disturbance will be giving assignments. So the students, at the end of the class, you say, okay, now this will be the assignments to bring back home to do, or this is homework. Sometimes you hear voices, right? They say, why this, how many, so much, things like that. Okay, so I mean, no choice, right? We have to give them homework to do, but we want to make sure they do those homework willingly. So what we can do is make it a practice that in every lessons, there's always assignments or homework ready there. So if let's say, for example, you upload your notes, so the notes always come with the questions. So it's something that they're expected already. So they know at the end of this subtopic, I have questions to do. So that how to say, you already preempt them. There's a questions to do, so they won't get shocked. Okay, so that's one way. Second way is we have to convince them the homework is important for you to do. Why? Okay, so if you can convince them it is something related to the next lesson, and then or something to do with something important. Okay, the homework important because of A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so if like that, then they hope they will do. Okay, and lastly, of course, motivation is very important. So every time they return the homework, make sure we mark. Okay, don't say, okay, you submit your homework and then you never reply them, never return back to them. Okay, so of course, they'll lose interest along the way. So if they submit the homework, you acknowledge, you actually go through, you give them a proper feedback, they appreciate that. That will motivate them to submit the next homework, okay, for you to check. Okay. And last one here. This one depends. Okay, the last part here, this one depends on the group of students you have. So here it says do not use complete them on time, or say finish them all, make sure all correct. Okay, so this kind of terms sometimes not suitable for I would say like average students. Okay, let's say in your class, they are not super competitive. If you use this kind of words like complete on time, make sure all correct, you discourage them. Okay, you demotivate them to finish the work. Okay, because they say, okay, I mean, if I don't complete, so what? Okay, it becomes retaliate. Okay, so if your class, they are they're non-competitive, they're average, but these works are important for them, so you can rephrase your work. If rephrase your words something, instead of say complete on time, okay, you can say attempt these questions. Okay, attempts. It can be correct, it can be wrong. So at least they are not frustrated like, oh, make sure all correct. Okay, attempt these questions. And then let's say you know they have like 2 days time to complete. So at least you can give like duration. Okay, so attempt these questions and submit your answer by 11:59 p.m. on this date. So they know they have a duration to do. Okay, so these are some of the suggestions, okay, how to reduce problems in terms of the assignment part. Okay, because if they don't, they don't submit their homework, then if let's say we need this information in the next class, they don't do this one, then you have to repeat doing homework in the class. So it will disrupt your next class. Okay, so we want to make sure they follow the instruction. And the next part, okay, the last part here, bringing closure. So again, okay, so over here, we want to make sure we spend the time in the class fruitfully. Okay, we want to maximize, okay, the interaction with the students. Okay, so bringing closure here before we end the class, we don't like, oh, okay, time's up, everyone go. Okay, so we make sure we end it in a proper way. Okay, so these are some of the ways that we can end our class. Okay, so we summarize. Okay, we summarize what we have taught before. So we combine or consolidate the key points. Okay, so we just summarize. Oh, today we talked about this. So, yeah, something like that. Okay, then summarizing and reviewing key contents and providing structures. Okay, so basically, when we end the class, we don't just end it abruptly. Okay, do your questions A to C. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye. Okay, no, we don't end it that way. Okay, so we always try to like summarize again, recap again. Okay, what we have covered earlier. This, and this. And next class, what to do next. Okay, so that's how we end the class properly. Okay, so that again, you won't give the students a shock, okay, of ending the class. All right, so up until here, anything you would like to ask? Okay, so if no, let's take a 10 minutes break. You can go to a washroom, you can go make yourself a coffee. Then we see again, now it's 4. Let's see again at 4:10. Okay, meet again at 4:10 p.m. All right. Okay, let's take a break now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the break time over. Are you all back to your seats? Please give some signal. All right, Jelani is back, Dr. Tan. Sheila, Dr. Naim, Dr. Abdullahi, are you all here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sheila? Okay, we have time constraints, so okay, hopefully, yeah, everyone will be in here in no time. So I have to continue. All right, I have to continue. So, okay, so in the previous section, the first section, so we look at the components, okay, what to have, what to expect in order to have good classroom management. So next now, we're going to continue the second part where we're going to look at the classroom management style. And lastly, the students' misbehavior. Okay, so yeah, Dr. Abdullahi. All right, welcome back. Okay, so let's look at the classroom management styles. Okay, so over here, we start off with the first one, the humanist tradition. Okay, the humanist tradition. So what it means by the humanist tradition. Okay, so under humanist tradition, we have congruent communication. So congruent communication here is a style that developed by Genott, okay, Genott, Genott. He was a teacher and later on he developed this so-called technique. Okay, so under congruent communication, Genott believed that the behavior and language from the lecturers set the tone for the learning. Okay, so means how we talk, how we communicate, that will affect the students' behavior, okay, whether or not they're going to respect us and follow us. So under this congruent communication, these are few things that we take notes. So again, it is a very in other words, human touch. Okay, so when we express our message, so make sure it is very professional and it shows that we care for our students. Okay, so this kind of techniques is suitable for kids, is suitable for young adults or even mature students as well. Okay, because in the communication, if we use these techniques, we show respect, okay, to the students, and by that we hope that they will respect us back and listen to what we want to convey. Okay, so the first part is the message that we send out. When we talk to the students, we have to make sure, be careful with our words. Okay, make sure it doesn't have the elements of blaming the students, humiliate the students, or threaten the students. Okay, because if these few things are there in our message, then some students that may feel triggered and retaliate. Okay, for example, like now instead of saying how to say, for example, yeah, the students didn't finish the assignment, for example. So it's better to start with what's wrong? Are you okay? I noticed that you haven't finished your assignments. Is there something wrong? So you show the care first, then only you go into what's the root cause, rather than straight away say, why are you so lazy? Or why are you the worst part is why are you so stupid? Not so simple, you don't know how to do. You see, this kind of words will trigger the other side. You get what I mean, right? So instead of pointing like, no, we blame you, like, no, why you are lazy, why you are late, why you are this, why you are that. We try to know what is the root cause. Okay. Instead of say, no, okay, you are 30 minutes late to the class. Why are you so lazy? At least we can say, no, you are late. Are you okay? That kind of, you can hear the tones, right? So it shows the caring, the tones rather than blaming. No, you are late. Why you wake up so late? This kind of things. Okay, you don't blame. Next, this part is it tallies. The second point tallies to the first point. You accept rather than denying the feeling. So means if you ask the students, like know why they didn't perform or why they didn't do certain things, so we have to accept what they tell us, even though it might be fake. Okay, so for example, like no, they didn't finish the homework. We say like no, why you didn't finish this work? The student said, oh, stomach ache. So we don't say you don't bluff lah. Where is your MC? Okay, we don't go into that direction. So it says stomach ache, fine, stomach ache. So how are you today? Are you feeling better now? But you still want them to finish the work. You cannot say, oh no, because your stomach ache, you don't need to do. No. You say, oh, how are you now? Oh, you are now feeling much better. Wonderful. So do you understand what I taught yesterday? So do you think you can finish your work today? Okay, wonderful. So you negotiate. You still want them to do the work, but must be willingly. Okay, so yeah, we have to accept what they tell us, and then we start to correct from there. Okay, not straight away blame them. Oh no, you don't bluff me lah, you this lah, that lah. No need to do the blaming work. In other words, behave professionally. Okay, then of course the last one here. I think I mentioned this part. I covered this one as well. Avoid using labels. Okay, so we don't call people lazy lah. No, even if you have the positive words like no genius or you are genius, that even though it sounds positive, sometimes it can backfire as well, especially like no, you monitor the whole class, you only have that one students who are actually outstanding, the rest they're average. So if you keep praising that one, the rest will feel they are neglected. Okay, so even when you're doing praising, you have to be careful of the words you use. Don't overpraise the good one and then ignore the weaker ones. Okay, must be balanced. Okay. And then this part here, again, this one goes with experience. When we choose our words and labeling, make sure the meaning is correct. For example, like I think we heard a lot of this from our school teacher. Ali is a good boy. He finished his homework on time. Good boy and finish homework. It actually doesn't tally. Finishing your homework doesn't mean you are good. Okay, good can be from a lot of aspects as well. Okay, so you complete homework means you are punctual. Okay, you are maybe responsible. Okay, so the label you use must tally with the what you want to present. Okay, cannot be like no, lump everything together. Okay, and then elicit cooperation. So over here, again, when you have so-called problematic students, you actually sit down and talk to them. When they express their issues, we give them ideas. Okay, we don't enforce our ideas on them. We just give them, okay, these are the options that you can try on. Okay, then let me know which one work best for you. Okay, so we try to nego with them, rather than telling them, oh, you should do this, you should do that, and make sure you do this. Okay, we give them option. These are what options you have. Then yeah, try them out and let me know how it works. Okay, so we try to work with them. And of course, when it comes to this congruence communication, doesn't mean that we must always be emotionless. No, okay, this one we must have a proper emotion. We can happy with them. Even when we are angry, we can express our anger as well, okay, but in a proper way. Okay, we cannot explode, boom, okay, or we cannot start blaming them. For example, okay, like this. Okay, so when we are frustrated, we are dissatisfied with their work, okay, we show that we are not satisfied. We are sad. Okay, we are disappointed rather than blaming them. Okay, like you can see from the statements over there. Okay, I feel disappointed with your presentation. Okay, versus your presentation is sloppy. Okay, so you can see the difference here. We are still aiming on the same object, which is the presentation is very bad. Okay, but the first statement there, I feel disappointed. So it shows that you actually care about the work. You actually go through the work and you felt sad because they didn't perform to the best level. Okay, rather than the second statement there, your presentation is sloppy. That part will be blaming. You blame, oh no, you're lazy, you're sloppy. So the first part will be better way, okay, to express your dissatisfaction. It's like, I feel disappointed, okay, because of this, and this. Okay, will you do better in the future? Okay, so that is some examples of this congruent communication. So under this humanist tradition, okay, so besides talking in a very good manner, okay, so that there can be influence, okay, by the words, okay, we also use cooperative learning over here. Okay, so it means we have more discussion among the students rather than competitive environments. Okay, because if it is always competitive, then the students might get bored. Okay, because we have to see what kind of group of students we have. Okay, if they are the non-competitive wise, they are not the competitive ones, and then we always make it competition like of situation, they will lose interest, or no, they can't get the best mark. Their mark is always 0, so they'll feel discouraged, then frustrated and things like that. Okay, so you can have those environments, but make sure you have more of the cooperative types so that the weaker ones, the moderate students, they can help each other and perform better in the future. Okay, so under cooperative learning here, besides the activities that is more on group work, okay, it doesn't mean it's always group work. Okay, it also means that cooperative here also means between the students and the lecturers. Okay, means we are all as a family. Okay, so we have to agree on certain conditions. So in the class, when you set the classroom rules, remember, right? Early on, we have the rules. So when you set the rules, make sure they all agreed with the rules, with the punishments and things like that. Okay, so everyone knows what they should do, what they shouldn't do. Okay, so everyone must know. So that when they make or they perform they exhibit some misbehavior, we reprimand them, they know it's wrong and they will try to change. Okay, so that we don't have to punish them. So must set mutual rules with the students and agreed by them. Okay, and also when we have disruptive students in a class, okay, we don't reprimand them directly, okay, because that might cause escalating the issues more. So we try to have a discussion with them after the class. Okay, but again, this part depends on how severe is the disruption. Okay, so if we need to stop it immediately there in the class, yes, we have to do that, but make sure later on we have a private discussion to handle the case. Okay, and if we have some punishment system that agree upon, okay, make sure we follow through. Okay, and make sure is the misbehavior is corrected and they won't do it again. Okay, so these are some of the points of the humanist tradition styles. Okay, so basically it sounds like maybe what we are already doing. All right, so we talk to them maturely, we don't disrespect them. Okay, whatever we want to implement, make sure all parties agree with it. Okay, so that when something wrong happen, then they won't blame us that you never tell us in the future. Okay, so that's the first one, humanist tradition. The second type is called applied behavior analysis tradition. So for this style, it is on behavior modification. So it means we go to the class, we don't expect anything. Once misbehavior happen, then we correct it on the spot with a system. Or we already have expectation, the students should have certain behavior. So we make sure we train them until they master that certain behavior. Okay, so that is what these applied behavior analysis traditions work. Okay, so over here, basically, whatever we want them to do, the behavior we want them to exhibit, we give them positive reinforcements. Okay, means if they fulfill certain things, we give them praises. Hopefully, they will continue to reinforce the behavior we want them to do. Okay. Meanwhile, for the behavior that we don't expect them to do, we want them to change, we give them the negative reinforcement. So negative reinforcement doesn't mean punishment. It's just that we take away some unpleasant condition when they are fulfilling certain criteria. Okay, so for example, like the students talk when we are talking. Okay, the students talk when we are talking. So the negative reinforcement will be we take away our voice. Okay, so like the students start talk when we are talking. Okay, so they only talk when we are talking. So the negative reinforcement is we stop our action. Okay, so when we stop, then you might feel awkward. They will stop their talking. So that is example of negative reinforcement. Means we stop what we are doing so that they know if they perform certain misbehavior, they won't gain something. Okay, so that's negative reinforcement. So in this applied behavior analysis tradition, is all about training the students to achieve certain behavior goal. Okay, so we apply positive so that they can continue. Then negative reinforcement if we want them to change. And then we continue to monitor or maintain the good behavior by intermittent reinforcement, where we still give them praises once in a while when they are completing the work or they achieve something, okay, that we want them to achieve. Okay, so under this tradition, they believe that the behavior of the students is not just like that. Okay, it won't happen without reason. Okay, they are controlled by stimuli. Okay, that cause those kind of behavior. Okay, for example, sound. Okay, so if the inside the room or outside the room is very noisy, so the students in the classroom become noisy as well. Okay, because they cannot hear, so they tend to increase their volume, their voice. Okay, or the sight, they saw something and that would trigger them certain behavior. Okay, for example, like let's say, in our classroom, you always start your class by switching off the light. So you switch off the lights and then you start certain things. So after a while, the students will get the hints already. The moment you off the lights, they all get ready. You on the light, they know it's a break time. Something like that. Okay, so the sound, the lights, or even the people around them will change their behavior. Okay, for example, like people will be like, you have some unfamiliar faces in the classroom, like observers, automatically the students will behave very well. Okay, so these are example stimuli that will change their behavior. Okay, so when we want to implement certain behavior on the students, okay, so we have to identify what we want them to have and what we want them to change. Okay, so we need to know first, okay, what we want them to have and what to change. And then at the same time, we have to identify also the stimuli for the good and the bad behavior. Okay, so we have to make sure we have those stimuli for the good behavior and remove the unnecessary stimuli for the bad behavior. Very simple example for those who have kids at home. Okay, you notice that when you on the TV, they will focus on the TV or the handphone. No matter what you tell them, they won't listen to you. Okay? But the moment you switch off the TV or switch off the gadgets, they will look at you when you talk to them. Okay, so the TV or the handphone, that's an example of stimuli. Yeah, I hope you get the idea. Okay, so this one I already mentioned. Okay, identify the inappropriate behavior. Okay, and discontinue the actions. Okay, which means we remove the stimuli that encourage the inappropriate behavior. And lastly here, create procedures to reinforce appropriate behavior that you want to replace in the inappropriate behavior. Okay, so this part here will take time to study the students and also to study the techniques as well. Okay. Okay, but it's good to know that behavior is something that we can implement. And the last one here, classroom management tradition. So classroom management tradition, this one normally works well with more experienced teachers, okay, because classroom management tradition emphasize on prevention, okay, in the classroom management. Okay, so you already expect certain misbehavior that might happen, so you create rules or you address this issue in advance in your class. Okay, so for classroom managers, so normally you will spend a lot of time before or during the first week to study the students, study the situation, and come up with rules and regulation and expectations and inform the students before they make mistakes. Example for us will be like our teaching manual. Okay, you already have the teaching manuals inside there. You have all the expectations, the dates, the time. So you inform them beforehand. Okay. All right. So yeah, you provide the rules and then you inform the consequences. So basically, the gist of classroom management tradition here is you prepare before the incidents happen. Okay, so over here I've shared these three. Doesn't mean that no, you must stick to one of them. No. Okay, so basically for us, we have to be flexible. So you just pick the best out of these three and then just try out with them and see whichever work with you. You can stick with it, try on the next class, and then if it can't work, you just tweak. So one thing over here is we are dealing with students, we are dealing with humans, okay? And you won't get the same set of students all the time. Okay, so that is one of the challenge that we have. Whatever techniques that work in one group doesn't mean it can work in the next group. Okay, so we have to always change according to the group of students that we have. Okay, so right, the next one here. So earlier on, the styles, I already have the 3 styles. So those 3 styles are something that we can apply so that we can make sure the students will respect the lecturers and therefore able to follow the lesson. over here, I put there as the alternative versions. These are also management styles. Okay, so you have the authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and indulgence. Okay, so what's the difference over here is if you look at this, the chart here, for the authoritarian is more teacher control, less students involvement. Okay, so this type of teachers, their plan, their structures, their the teaching to more teacher oriented. Okay, very teacher oriented, and the interactive with students is very low or zero interaction with students. The teachers basically go in the class, presents whatever need to present, give the task, you finish the task, and end of the class. Okay, so there's no interaction with the students, will not accept argument, okay, with the students, and very strict with the rules. Yes, no, everything very strict, okay, without any compromise. Okay, that is the authoritarian. So normally we said the very fierce teacher. Okay, so that is the first part, the first type. Okay, everything is by the book. Okay, but with less student involvement. Okay, the second type is authoritative. Okay, authoritative, okay, even though sounds very similar to the first one, but the second one here, there's more teacher control and at the same time, more students involvement. So it means for the authoritative, in terms of the lesson planning, is more balanced. Okay, there's a teacher centered, at the same time, there are students centered as well. Okay, the teacher pay attention to the students' welfare at the same time. Okay, the first one, the authoritarian, the teacher has no interest at all in how on what the students have going through. Okay, the teacher only know go in, finish the lesson, balik. Okay, meanwhile, the second type, there's more human. Okay, it's more human. There's an interaction with the students. Will listen to the students, but at the same time, still strict. Okay, there's still some rules there to control the students' activity. Okay, and deliver. So now I go down here, indulgence. So indulgent, you can see over here, it is less teacher control, more student involvement. So for the indulgent style, normally there's less structure in the activity, okay, and a lot of interaction between the teacher and the students. Okay, so the students are given a lot of freedoms to do whatever they want to do, okay, and not very strict with the rules. In other words, it is like, sometimes we have terms like, the students and the teachers are like friends. Okay, students and teachers are like friends. So that is under the indulgent style. Okay, you don't set a very strict rules to the students. They can do whatever they want. So you will gain favor from the students. Okay, but the disadvantage or the danger of this indulgent style is once the students treat you like friends, okay, they start to treat you like friends, they will lose respect. Okay, you yourself will lose your authority, so you can't control the students anymore. Okay, so that's the danger of these indulgent styles, where you give too much freedom to the students to do what they want to do. Okay, and the last one is permissive. Okay, permissive. So permissive here, basically, in terms of lesson plan, is always a last minute activity. Like you don't really plan, structured your lesson very well. Okay, so you can see over here, is less teacher control, less students involvement. Okay, both sides also less. So it means the teacher side basically less activity. Okay, and the teacher at the same time also has no interaction with the students, doesn't care whether the students can do it or not, basically just give up. That is the permissive. Okay, so this kind of teachers normally is something that you can sense, where they'll go in the class, teach you. After that, all right, now you go to the page 1 to 10, finish all the questions. And then the students just do the questions, and at the same time, the teacher will be somewhere else. Then after the time's up, come back. All right, whoever has completed the work, submit your work, and that's it for today. Okay, so that will falls under permissive. Okay, means you basically just go in there without passion. Okay, you don't structure your lesson plan properly to have full engagement. Okay, you just go there, teach, let them do their work, or just watch movie, do some questions, and end of the session. Okay. So if you see yourself falls under permissive here, maybe you want to look back again, know whether or not this is something that you want to pursue in long term. Okay, because like the authoritarian, authoritative, and indulgence, there's still passion in the teaching. It's just that the way they treat the students is different. Either they're very strict or they're very loose. Okay, but when it comes to permissive here, basically it's like, I don't care already. I just want to finish my work. I don't care how you perform. That's it. Okay, so yeah, this 4 here, okay, is the style. And yeah, it's good for us to look back again at the way we teach and try to see where we falls under. And then if you think you want to change your styles within these 3, then you can do the tweak slowly. Okay, and of course, we can always change between the authoritarian to authoritative, or from indulgence to authoritative. We can always change according to the activities that we want to do. All right, so that is the teaching style. And now we go to the last part. This one I'll go briefly. Student misbehavior. All right, so student misbehavior, you will notice a lot of points have been covered earlier under the management styles, okay? So student misbehavior, what is misbehavior? Okay, so the standard general definition will be inappropriate or disruptive action that prevents an effective learning experience in the classroom. Okay, so some misbehavior in one classroom can be just normal in other classrooms. So it's up to us to define what is misbehavior in our classroom. Okay, so what are the most common student misbehavior you have encountered? Okay, so another work for you to do, you can use back the link I gave earlier, or you can scan this one and do this next question. Okay. Okay, you can scan this or go back to the up there for the link, okay, to answer this question. Okay, so you can see the new questions here in the Mentimeter. Sleeping. Okay, late arrival. Chatting with friend. Okay, skipping classes. Mission action. So there's skipping classes as well. All right, thank you for the responses. So we have sleeping, skipping class, late arrival, chatting with friends. This one is playing with phones. Okay, all right. Okay, so thank you for your response. So you can see those misbehaviors are quite common, and I'll say they are considered as quite a minor disturbance and also truancy. So these are categories in terms of the misbehavior. So we have the talking and sleeping. I saw that 2 points. So that falls under disruptions where you disrupt the flow of the class. And then MIA, late arrivals. So that will be under the truancy. Okay, so far we only have these two. I'm glad there are no others that putting in the under physical or verbal abusers or the criminals. Okay, so because these two are much more heavier. Okay, these are much heavier. So if just talking or sleeping, all those are considered as the minor ones, which we can easily deal with. Okay, if we know the root cause. Okay, so let's see. What is the motives? Okay, why they exhibit this kind of behavior? Okay, so the number one, it can be boredom. Okay, it can be boredom. They are bored in the class. That's why they sleep in the class. Okay, it can be, or they can be actually very tired. That would be different case. Okay, attention seeking. Okay, like those talking in class, or they always like talk while we are talking. That there can be people that like your attention. Okay, or avoiding work. Okay, avoiding work. They, for whatever reason, maybe they are poor, maybe they have no interest. They try to avoid the work, like class activities or what. They give a lot of excuses, or if they know today is group presentation, they'll just purposely just MIA. Okay, it can be. Okay, or malicious teasing. So this one is normally is again is some disruption in the class where you have people from one end, teasing people from another end. Okay, so yeah, that will cause the talking in the class. Okay, causing excitement. Okay, so yeah, so this one here is it happens where sometimes students, especially we categorize them as the naughty ones, they love to see teachers losing temper. They purposely do something that the teacher will scold them. Okay, then they feel the excitement, so they will do it again and again. Okay, so that it can be a cause of why they misbehave. Okay, they just want to see how you react. So if you don't give them that reaction, then it will reduce that. And display of power. Okay, display of power, especially even kids, they have this also, right? They want to show they are in charge. Okay, so they will start to say no. Okay, so sometimes that is the way they display power. Or the last one here, it can be defensive mechanism. So like the earlier ones, if you remember, under the congruent communication, the tradition, the humanist tradition. Okay, we always said we have to be very careful with the words we use. Okay, so if we are facing students that that are very egoistic, their defensive mechanism will be to fight back. So when we talk something like, no, that they arrived late, so you blame them, no, why you are late, then they might have different way, okay, to reply you. So the reply can be rude, okay, and then you feel offended and you try to scold them, then they will scold you back and the problems will become bigger and bigger, and then you label them as rude. Okay, so these are the motives that can lead to the misbehavior in the class. Okay, the boredom, attention seeking, avoiding work, malicious teasing, causing excitement, display power, and defensive mechanism. So we have to see, okay, actually what caused the so-called misbehavior. So how to address this misbehavior? So first, okay, as we mentioned, we have to set our rules right at the beginning. So we have to, especially first day in class, okay, first day in class, even though now it's already the third week, so there's still time for improvement, okay, hopefully not too late in case you have problematic students in your class, okay? So, but this is how it normally works. First day itself, we will set our what we expect the students to do. Okay, so we will set the goals, the rules, so that everyone agree on it. Then, in order to understand the students more, okay, so we have to show concern to the students, build rapport with the students, okay, so that we can build this mutual respect. Okay, so we can start by joining the students, like let's say before the class starts or during the break. Okay, maybe we can go down to the students group and see what kind of conversation they have, try to understand them a little bit more. Okay, and then once they feel comfortable to talk to us, we feel comfortable to talk to them, that's where we can find out, okay, if they have any issues, okay, and they can talk to you directly if they have issues rather than misbehave. Okay, then if indeed we have cases, okay, we already inform, okay, so these are the rules, we expect you to do this, but the misbehavior still happen in the class. So when we reprimand, make sure we have to reprimand immediately, consistently, correctly, firmly, and calmly. So it means if there's a group of people making noise, so we have to make sure we're able to pinpoint correctly who is starting it. Okay, and then consistently and firmly, okay, we have to talk firmly, ask them to stop if they are looking at phones or things like that. Okay, must be firm and consistent. Cannot be A can do, B cannot do kind of things. Okay. And when we address the misbehavior, make sure we avoid confrontations, hostile remarks, and unfair comparisons. Okay, so this will escalate the matters, become worse. Okay, so make sure when you talk to them, okay, politely. And then, of course, reprimand privately. This one is after you know your students. So you know some of them, they are sensitive. So if you reprimand them on the spot in the class, they will retaliate. So this kind of cases, then you will do it privately after the class. Okay. For example, like let's say you have the students sleeping in your class. So when they sleep in the class at that point, let's say your activity is lecturing, just basically information from you to the students. So if there's a student sleeping over there, either you wake him or her up before you start, okay, or you just carry on because the student's not disturbing the class. Okay, then after the class ended, bring him or her out, then ask for exactly what's going on. Okay, so that's just example. And this part is also quite common. when you want to address misbehavior, make sure you avoid empty threats. For example, just example, you say, okay, so for those who are not passing up your homework, I'm going to call your parents. So you always use the same threats. So first time that you threaten them, they get back to you. And then the second time they see, oh, the same threat again, there's no action. Then the third time they won't care already. Okay. But if you actually take the step, okay, you say, oh, if you don't do your work, I'm going to inform to your parents. You actually do it, then they know you are serious. Okay. If you just talk but no action, know that they won't respect you. They will continue with their misbehavior. Okay. And lastly, make an example. Okay, so this one here, we can do this one, but make sure it's sparingly and respectfully. Normally it's maybe at the beginning of the class, for example, you give them the instruction. No, if you don't watch this video tomorrow, you can't participate in the quiz, for example. So they actually do not watch the video. So tomorrow when they want to join, you say, okay, sorry, you cannot join because you didn't fulfill these things. So you do it in front of the class, everyone can see, oh, the consequences if you don't do this is this. So that is what means by setting an example. Okay. All right, so yeah, these are some strategy. And then last part, when it comes to misbehavior, we always blame the students. Okay, when it comes to misbehavior, we always blame the students. The students like this, the students like this. Okay, but these are some of the pointers that we can take notes. Okay, why the students behaving like that? Okay, misbehavior in students' perspective. Okay, why they behave like that? Okay, sometimes these pointers here, okay, might stab us in our heart. Okay, but yeah, it's the reality. Okay, lessons are boring. Let's say you are teaching something very dry. You are teaching history. The lesson itself is very boring, so they will, misbehave, sleeping, talking, things like that. Or the lecturers do not know how to teach. Okay, so for them it's like the delivery method is boring. So yeah, they don't want to follow. Lecturers have weak discipline. Okay, so this is that's looking at us as the leader. So that they behave as how we behave. You expect them to reach class on time, but you never punctual. So they follow you. Okay, or no, you never how to say you never walk the talk. They will follow, right? So they will misbehave in that way because you never walk the talk. Okay, and lastly, lecturers make unfair comparisons. Okay, when you start to make unfair comparisons, then yes, there's where some students they'll rebel. Okay, and we will mark them as naughty and misbehave. So for us, okay, make sure we, from time to time, we reflect on our classroom activity planning, okay, our interaction with students. Okay, make sure we actually have some efforts to build rapport with students. Okay, and also reflect on our action in class. The actions we do, our expression in class, the words we use. Okay, so we have to always reflect back on what we do in class. Okay, so that we know that this misbehavior is not caused by us. All right, so these are some of the things that sometimes we have to look back, okay, when it comes to so-called students' misbehavior. All right, basically that is the end of today's session. So just to recap, so able to create a conducive and safe environment, okay, for students to study and excel. That's the purpose or reason why we have this management, the classroom management. It sets a reasonable set of rules and implements them, and earn students' respect, okay, by showing commitments in your lesson, caring about their performance and well-being, okay, and treating them respectfully. Okay, so hopefully by doing this, okay, we can earn their respects and they will follow our instructions. Okay, and of course, if misbehavior occur, make sure we address them tactfully. All right, so that is the end, and thank you very much. Any questions? If no
As
questions,
for now, no.
okay, all right. So yeah, thank you for attending this session. So if no questions, that's all for today. So wish you have a good weekends and see you again in the next session. Bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you, Dr.
Bye.
Tan.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay,
Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Tang. Thank you very much.
okay, no problem. All right.